I'm excited to see how the new or old school Viper ends up playing out with that silence.
Yeah, F2v1. Hopefully they make it to rounds over here. I've been seeing the F3v3, and I think they're taking a hint out from JL when they tried to do it into round 4, but they found no value out of the V1 stun. Hopefully we're going to see that transition later on. But starting off into the Plume Castle, KLA and WBG making their spawns here for the economy of just being able to pick up utility of the gear, of the trode frequency. And as you can see, eliminations happening here in the kill feed with JDG finding 2 eliminations against Wolves. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, they found the whole team wipe, as well as with BBE into the first minutes of the match. They're going to find themselves buying that Moonbane if they can, and with this new shop being introduced into Season 12, the amount of consistency towards getting those early game kills and the spending purchases towards a shop is a must. But with KLA CXE looking for his chance here to backlining here, finds those RMBs with the staff. A Moonbane coming in for KLA as they were the first to immediately use it, and being able to contrast into what's happening here. QGG actually getting eliminated here. The Moonbane is dropped. KLA CXE gets caught into the Tested Enchant coming out, and with Sleepwalker backing off here, the rest is going to be confirmed as long as those F3s come out, but the Enchant will give enough time for ZXC here with those shield walls of providing protection for his own sake. Now, with this Moonbane, this could give any sort of players, such as with TE, that spawn north of the Pinnacle Town to make their way towards this. A Forbidden Seal has been spawned in. Players can take the vicinity of reaching out towards this area if they really want to take the do so. But OUG, having been spawned in the Salvation podium for that puzzle, are going to possibly making their ways towards here as well. While DRG are in that high ground, TE are making their ways in a counterclockwise motion towards this area, just trying to see if any outskirts of any stragglers from the fights, if there had been any. But now, and as we can see, you know, KLA, they got themselves out there without having worst case scenario being eliminated off the rip. And DRG are looking to back off here as well. And with the chase coming out from KLA, they do have a Tesla Ultimate cast readily to go. I'm also curious to see if we're going to see the energy builds, or rather we're going to see the discount builds for these teams, judging by how KLA is going to see it. CXE finds a parry off of DRG WFZ, and with everything coming out here, has a Tested Enchant, misses targets, with the CXE getting silenced here and caught into the Tested Enchant for that moment of suspension, gets caught with an RMB from the fan. And as we can see, WFZ is going to look for the next kill. It's going to be confirmed. DRG picking up their first elimination. They're not going to stop here. They're going to see Exile looking to try to lock down into QGG's position and trying to lock in through for RMBs for the longsword. But as you can see, the position from Cuckoo is looking to stagger those enemies from not pushing any further long. But the double parry coming out from Exile, and that's with the kills coming back in here for DRG. They're going to find kills number 2 and 3, fully eliminating KLA for the first set of lives. And now going into the city of Tang, we're going to have JJH looking to the Monk, Raven.
Godlay on the Monk. They've been running this Monk for a little bit now, and before, Godlay was alone with Sleepwalker. Now he still has one little duo, but Monk in Tang is pretty tough. BB is going to be coming in with the Cannonball with full ultimate. Godlay, noble sacrifice, holding the back line. Nice flanks coming out from the Tempe. Unfortunately, going to get parry. Fairy ult's going to be invested. Roy Hehe on the Yodo. It looks like they got Moonbane as well. Second Moonbane is going to be invested in. JJH managing to cover and move, peeling their way out of this situation. Godlay surviving because of the quick action from the Feria, now poking out on the edge. Now BBE still has 3 ultimates to their name on the corner, and when that Moonbane's going down, the bat signal is up. People will be coming in with the third party. BBE's now activating, looking in for the kill. Monk's going to go down first. Will JJH be able to survive and salvage the situation? It looks like BBE's Ivan is hot on their heels. This max grapple distance, just not letting you get away like you used to. Yushan ult is going to be invested, but Flames finding a way to create a little bit of time. I believe one of his teammates get down, but Flames is going to get taken down. BBE on the board, climbing up there, up to 5 kills, starting off their bi-weekly 4 trios, day 2. Well, now moving over to Metab, we got Wolves, the current leaders right now, posturing, looting up. This whole left side of the map is really, really good for playing slow and laddering up, and it looks like they're trying to catch one of these slow teams. TE on the attack on Titan, hunting these valleys, looking for these slow transformers. Now OUG, probably the best Siphon in the league right now because of this man. You already got some gold, fan. I'm guessing these boys already hit up the puzzle. OUG picking up where they left off. They've been the puzzle team this entire season. They've been contested by WBG and KLA, but if they are left to their own devices, they scale out of control just like GG. Both of these teams just absolute macro demons. If you do not harass their loot spots, they are going to scale out of control. We got triple purple armor on GG, purple weapons on that F3 Viper. She's going to be nuking, hitting a ton. FPX as well, no slouch. One of the tier 1 teams, their macro hitting on points are Takeda. Still needs to get to that point where he has that purple ultimate. A lot of Siphon only really gets online as you buff that Takeda as the game goes on. But once that Takeda gets to that purple ult, that gold ultimate, he becomes a force to reckon with. Looks like 521's going to find a little bit to reset. I'm really excited to see this Wolves team go at it. Now, I've been not a believer of Wolves, but they've been showing a lot more consistency. Is this the season, you think, Servio, that they're going to transcend to the next level? But first, got 521 versus JDG. White armor, tough spot for 521's going to come in. It looks like JDG wants this action, wants to take this fight. Seeing that Unique only has a white armor. The Zai looking to engage onto the Yodo, looks for the F3, not able to get it, gonna pop ultimate. Now Yodo denying all the pressure, popping her ultimate back. Nice meteor to get out of that situation. Now 521 reversing the momentum. Can they find it though? Zai's about to activate and come back in, but it looks like their four brothers. BBE is going to take advantage of this situation, seeing all the ultimates invested. Vario Mech is going to go down, trying to find a kill, but now a 3v3 unfolds. Pampy has to go into Mech, tries to ice us off. JDG doing a good job putting 521 back in the middle, and now BBE wants some blood, wants to find a kill right now. Roy Hehe and the squad descending upon them, just probing for weakness, trying to find that white armor that they saw earlier, but Pampy in the Vario Mech hiding his vulnerability. Same thing with Unique on the Yushan, able to kite perfectly into the zone. The zone this early doesn't do a ton of damage. 521 making a great play here, retreating into the zone, using their white heals, and hopefully be able to break contact. It looks like JDG is going to lose their zipping, and great play from 521 to ice off that JDG pressure and use and take advantage of BBE third party.
Yeah, 521 taking advantage of that terrain and just being able to use the zone to their advantage of not having any teams to want to push in was a great alternative for them instead of getting eliminated off the end, because they already lost their first set of lives. But GG's going to be looking to this fight. An elimination off of FPX's Dongxin gives LXM enough chances to pick up the Soul Bloom and start building up rage consistently after he had utilized his V3 in that engagement. Now, as we can see, Dongxin's getting rezzed out here from the Kurumi, and as we can see, Zhao Hu is in the backline and trying to keep himself alive with his teammate, but Water goes down in reciprocation. 3-3-0 from GG. We're able to get caught into a third party from JJH. JJH are cleaning up shop here as Zhao Q gets caught into that Dragon Slayer with the Neja's Might and keeping everything in motion for that Stone Form, but it's not going to be enough when a whole team and a whole squad is ready to set up for those eliminations. JJH is finding those 3 eliminations. We do have Roman Yang brought up, and right before the Roman Yang begins, I'm hoping to see where Wolves stands, as you mentioned before, considering that they are making the season their own and having those caught out. I want to see and seeing how they perform out here for finals, because that's where that make or break is going to happen for their position, and they can introduce a lot of things. But OUG, my hero, trying to look for those micro shots of being able to hit those pistol shots and bow shots, but he's finding this R&B in midair with the F1, and a lot of action coming out from BBE. As we can see, Ivan is in a locked position inside of the semicircle where he can't shoot in or he can't shoot out, but Yu is going to get caught out here for those cannon shots. He's not worried. He's not using his ultimate early on. He's waiting for the disengagement from the Farius Shen mech as it gets disabled. Ivan gets to that F3 caught into the sky, and as you can see, this point of view camera coming in from you can see he's keeping eyes and ears left to right, 180 degrees perspective pretty much. And as Yu looks towards and saving this Fury Blast for in case if anything happens for his teammates, Roy Shishi is on the offensive with the Yorihime ult. Ivan being locked out here and being eliminated, it gives only these 2 teammates between him and Fat Milk to try to 2v3, but as you can see, Fat Milk is consolidated in a 2v1, Roy Shishi in a 1v1 against the Zai, and we're going to see, or the Zip Ping Ying, we're going to see F3 coming out from Roy Shishi as Fat Milk is caught out here and getting eliminated. Roy Shishi is the only lasting teammate for BBE into this realm. If he can catch a parry, he'll have a good chance, but the amount of pressure coming out from OUG, this Roman Yang gives them a huge lead. They have already a gold fan. They're picking up another gold weapon. It's going to be a gold spear that can be be converted for his staff, but considering that we've been seeing the spear having more of a prevalence inside of the trios because it's massive amount of damage, single blue focus hits in a quick 1.0 manner of fashion for that vertical, which is called the Crescent Slam. I don't know why, it's just sticking in my head. Crescent Slam can do a lot of damage for a lot of enemies, especially if you're able to confer with a Fury and Blast coming in from you or Takeda in general. But we do have WBG hiding this outside of the Roman Yang. They saw OUG leave out there over by the trenches. We are going to see KLA versus JDG. 521's Pampy is by himself as CXC is looking to lock this one in, and KLA's Cuckoo is looking for those range shots. He finds out between both of his teammates. He has his angle on Ballista, gets the first set of eliminations off of Pampy, and looking to try to see if anyone is looking to backline into this position. No one's making their move so far. And as KLA are looking to get those 2 eliminations, we can see Tutty is still in slow form as the last remaining teammate. JDG's ZDI is looking to be, right behind these enemies as a whole. 521 losing one of their teammates, while ZDI is the only one left into the Zyphin comp, and they only have 3 eliminations so far. JDG ZDI has to be making sure that once the time comes for finding out if those spirit rolls have been completed and remembering the locations to find that Reaper Charm, has to also look for buybacks for his team by that point. In the meanwhile, Wolves is making their push against KLA here. As the background comes through, BBE are in soul form outside of the Rum Yang fight, so they're looking for those engagements to cause a third party. But we can see Zem is activating the Zai ultimate here, hasn't that free for the reset, and with it, we're going to see QGG looking for that V3, but as you can see, the Matari is making her move, the Wu Chen is looking for the port. They're going southbound, and as you can see, KLA is already in that position of being able to catch these teammates out for that third party and looking for the escape route. But BBE are close behind. A Ballista shot coming in here from the backline and trying to find these teammates. F3 is initiated from Cuckoo as the Wu Chen to give some range immunity or grapples in case any sort of staggers come out from Wolves, and they are not stopping. They got White Tiger's prowess. They're looking to make sure and make it count. If they can build up that stackable buff, that would be of great value for them for the end game. And coming out from the Spearwell is something, Raven, that, you know, like you said, with Cannonball Comp being able to take utilization of it. And I think also to the extension, one small divot is that teams who have like 1 remaining teammate, you know, for instances like how JDG has only 1 teammate, if they don't remember where that spirit well is, they won't be able to find that, you know, the spot, because once you complete a spirit well, there is no marker whatsoever left on the map. No one has vision on where that spirit well is. It's kind of like, hopefully, I think I remember it being here type situation, and I kind of hope if they find their opportunity, Raven, that they might remember that on the bar.
I love this building for Wolves. That little spot right there, one of the first places I found to hide, but they unfortunately cannot hide from BBE. BBE wants to take this fight. They have the Yang depletion, a minute 40. Roy Hee going crazy with the Dragon Slayer. Now Wolves at the mercy of this cannonball. Matari and Zai doesn't do super well versus the Transformers. Now Wolves, Matari down to half health, but doing a great job kiting in this situation. Tough spot for the Transformers to hold someone down. Yushan doing his best to look for someone, but KLA have been on fire. Their timings have been impeccable. Their hunting paths has been wonderful. They spot out this Yang depletion situation. They're going to be able to pick out 2 of the remaining BBE members. Fat Milk is going to go down on the Yushan, and now last ditch effort. Roy Hee on the Yodo. 1 slash out, 2 slashes out, dodges the Tessa all with the 3rd slash. Now Roy Hee, can he find that 1v3 magic in the middle of Wolves? Looks like he is just gonna be that red meat for KLA or Wolves. He chooses to feed himself over to Wolves. He is gonna go down, and now KLA has to be careful right now. Wu Chen Port is down, no Viper all to their name. That Wolves composition is a direct counter to them. KLA backing off wisely and again scouting out, waiting, biding their time, looking for this ambush play. But Wolves spotting out their prey, spotting out their hard counter. XEM is going to activate right now, looking for the flank, finds, looking for their prio target, but it looks like Wolves is going to buy their time, seeing too many teams activating. They're going to opt out to buy a little bit, and KLA is going to go to the right, trying to get out of the middle of JJH with this 3rd party. JJH is on a slow composition. They're not going to look for an investment here, but WBG is looking for that fight. They're going against TE. Sleepwalker is going to get taken down from Leo. Zone is pushing in, and it looks like TE is going to get the best of the 2nd bi-weekly champs, WBG. KLA not getting away from Wolves. They are going to lose their Wu Chen and their ability to get out of the situation. And now Zai with the Meteor activating with the Zai ult, eating this attack on Titan alive. Matari still the bane of Vipers there.
Yeah, no, Viper is not having a great time, especially against these Xiphon comps. And for the past 2 trios days that we've been able to see him being played, it's very apparent. Considering that Zem is going into the fireball mode and having V2 ultimate with the chain side suppress, not a lot you can do against those burns unless you are a Kurumi. You got to cleanse that out, whether for the ultimate cast, which is last resort, but also to the F1 where it can cleanse that ability out. But GG are opting in here for the Spirit Well as it comes through. No team is going to want to contest for the Rami Yang here, as GG are looking to try to get this purple armor confirmation with the buff entailed. So once that comes out here to be unlocked, let's look and see what GG are looking for. It looks like they're not wanting to accept it immediately. They want to delay it as much as possible, just to try to create some more time of value for themselves. As the Spirit Will takes time to build up, they're just waiting this one out to build up more time as it comes through. And as you can see, Roman Yang has timed out. OUG find their free victory. No one wanted to contend it. 8 eliminations for this team so far. Another gold weapon into their arsenal. And for OUG, the king, right? He's going to be able to get himself into seeing this Draco Storm as a zipping king. He's happy. Gold nunchucks are going to be picked up from this Roman Yang, as well as the Flamebringer. This is going to give Takeda super huge value for the amount of pressure that he can do, getting free burns pretty much if he switches over for that. Takeda Fear and Blast, and just being able to ensure that the enemy teammates or enemy combatants aren't ready to go for that. Now Aisha has wait, this is a V3 Wuchen. I didn't even see this V3 Wuchen into the build for WBG. That's I gonna be A Shao with the V3 that can be used while under attack, but not getting the whole team out in an immediate quarter of fashion cost him as A Shao gets eliminated. We didn't even see it. We didn't even see it. They didn't like, no, get him out. Hold on, what's going on through WBG's minds? I didn't even see the V3 into the preview of the skill selection. I totally was oblivious. And all right, you know what? If it's a play, if it's a tactic, they're like, what if? But it didn't work out. We saw how TE were able to pick the elimination of the final member of WBG this round for this sake. Now, OUG are hunting here for the next 2 minutes with their Draco Storm. TE Leo finding an elimination of a 5-1 Pompey, as with looking at OUG's U against CXZ from KLA. It looks like KLA's CXZ is the remainder of the team for themselves. Now, KLA has 3 eliminations right now. We have around approximately 7 teams to be available here for the final circle of V1 of a wild haymaker from CXZ, denying the enemy team combatants to be able to chase this one down. CXZ has 3 seconds to make this count, as the King is not the only one that's looking to try to keep this pressure on. You can see SS is ready to go ahead and launch those armies to the pole sword, and as CXZ gets eliminated, KLA, or OUG, I should say, find their 9th elimination into this round.
OUG with the Draco Storm, unstoppable, just absolutely unstoppable. And again, when OUG is uncontested off spawn, they usually win this round out. Holoroth still super strong for the Takeda Xiphon comp. You're just in these end games, you're able to dictate the spacing. As long as you get to that power spike and survive all of these Viper compositions. I'm surprised here that GG has been playing mainly for the loot, not for trapping. Like, we're seeing 2 different play styles work out super well. We see KLA's super heavy ambush, kill heavy play style versus GG's very slow play style on the Viper. Now, I'm curious to see how this endgame will be playing out, because all 3 phases has their super stacked team. Wolves with the Zai composition, XEM having gold armor on the Zai, super buffed for this end game. Can they play it to the T just like JL does now with the super durable compositions of JJH and what's their name, JJH and OUG's Xiphon? I'm curious to see who comes out on top on Holoroth. We've seen JL make it work. I feel like with the Comet being so vulnerable, I still feel like Zai is super vulnerable, as long as the Takeda does their job and crowd controls them and make sure that they can't get as much value. Even though the triple Comet or triple Meteor does give them a ton of mobility mid-fight. They can get in, ultimate, start doing pressure. If they do get pressure, they can get out, and as soon as Matari ult goes off, they can get back in. It's pretty nuts what's possible and how innovative JL has been. But it doesn't surprise me. VVV and TXJ, both part of the world champion teams. Both of them I have watched throughout my Naraka career, because a lot of the league always looks to them to innovate and show them new things, and we're still seeing that today. Now, into this mid game, everyone's slowing down. We got that day one. Everyone's content with how much loot they have. I really want to see this Sandmech have more success. I believe we saw them have a Holoroth MVP previously in a previous week, and we're seeing the rise of this Sandmech, the Feria, Temi, Monk, with Feria feeding their mechs to the Temi over and over. The OG cannonball strategy before TE switched that up with Yoda. Before Yoda was buff, this was the original rotation of that Feria mech, where you just build up ultimate and you just keep dumping that mech onto your teammate over and over while Feria builds her ultimate with that cannon. Now we're seeing TE as blueberries, these blue armors transition in this end game. Their main objective here, if you're new to Naraka and you're just tuning into the Pro League, there is 1 or 2 more chests that show up in these end games, and usually the team that manages to survive getting to this point tries to play for this chest, because there really isn't much incentive when you're super stacked to contest the chest. You get a little bit more loot, but you're already super stacked. You have that the alpha status when people come check your health, like, oh, it's one of the stronger teams, your range is set up, good to go. And if you want to make it past this next step, a lot of these weaker teams do play for this gold box. So as the Moonbane goes up and the last box shows up, we're going to see these teams posturing to try to bring this up. But now it's going to be a game of chess between all of the scale teams, all of the winners of their POIs. We got Wolves super stacked on the Xiphon. We got OUG super stacked on their traditional Xiphon. And we got JJH bringing up the Tianhai going into this endgame serve.
Yeah, TE actually was working their timings right. They had 40k gold on Leo, and as it came through, they waited for the timer to hit down. They're gonna take a look at the builds right before I get to the point. You can see discounts off here for SS, but you can see you is actually opting in for that grapple distance into that skill cooldown with the rage, with the mitigation, and Zipping Ying opting in for the rage on top of the discount to make sure that team has 16%. And as the point was gonna be made here, once that timer clicks down for these shops now in Season 12, we did see TE went straight towards the shop and buying out those gold armors as well as the jades that could be combined. I think I saw this from Team JJH. They have themselves a jade that can be really utilized well with paired with another jade, where a martial artist Willhook form was obtained, as well as having a stanchion sky pillar. If they are able to lock down somebody in that animation and grant themselves that silence, they could do some detrimental work against a single target. Spirit Well is spawning in here, though. As we can see, Wolves is on the outskirts. GG are looking to try to hold this range down, as we mentioned before, and as yesterday is the first day of Trios. If you guys haven't participated and seen this new patch being dropped, this is where Spirit Wells come into huge moments into the final circles. Whether or not teams are looking to want to engage, they can't range in. They can only be inside shooting out, or just fight the team in melee combat stance inside of it. As you can see, CGS comes out here for a double tether up against Wolves' ZK, and as you can see, it's not going to be disabled for the disenchant. And with GG, CJS finding that gold armor for their team for picking it up, LXM is going to be the one to pick it through, and this team is disengaging immediately upon that pickup for the Spirit Well. They are going straight down to south. We can see DRG are right next door, and if whether or not they want to take the time to engage here for range shots, you can see 330 is taking the most damage from this team, losing out all in his armor and getting that regen here. This is going to be where the team is going to consolidate whether or not they're going to have the certain weapons for Jades for themselves. We're going to see LXM having that 1 gold Jade in play. And for LXM as the Viper, right, some Jades like the Overcomer, which is what he's going to be holding on to, could come into moments if he goes into the final circle of launching people off. I'm not sure how the verticality into Imperial Village will end up here, but as you can see, the builds are in play. CJ is going for a majority of that rage, and then with the discount coming from 330. Did you catch what LXM had for his rage part, or for his build for the Talent Glyphs Raven?
It looks like a lot of people are going full discount, full rates, surprising me, with the exception of you really going max grapple distance. I still feel like max grapple distance is going to be critical in that middle to transitional end game, being able to chase people down, find the openers onto your prio target. But it looks like, as I suspected, we kept this a little bit hidden on tactics, but we're seeing it right now. Everyone is going full discount. Without that discount, with how expensive everything is right now in a Mortar War, you're just not able to buy significantly anything transitioning to endgame. If you're hoping for those Jades, you're hoping for that power spike, unless your full team has max discount, it's going to be really tough times. And most of these teams, with the stamina change, with the glyph changes, are still opting to play no stamina, go full rage, get that nice last bit of rage 20% damage reduction on all of their ultimate. And still, trios is a game of ability rotations. The fighting really big in neutral, off spawn, inside realm of Yang, but you're only in those two situations for very little. These end games is all about churning out those ultimates, getting it onto your carry character to push you through this. We're seeing you, Wolves, all these teams posture. We're gonna get an exciting end game serve with all these buildings, with all these cliff sides. I love very complex end games where there are little nooks and crannies here and there, and how these teams interpret this positional chess match. You and OUG, still one of the best to do it. I still believe the most mechanically talented team there, but Wolves has been impressing me with their challenge over there on the Spirit Well, and their ability to survive OUG's sandwich coming into play with GG perfectly zoning them out. Wolves able to mitigate their risk and find their way into the situation. TE and with the blue armor, they managed to get Han the purple armor. They're still salvaging the situation. We'll have to see how this great Empyrean POI endgame is going to evolve, sir. I'm hoping this is not an ideal situation for Monk, but I'm going to put my bets on OUG taking this, with Takeda being very versatile in these endgames.
Yeah, a lot of buildings to kind of avoid. You can see the Teslas are going to have a great time of engaging with their Tesla enchants through walls where there's so much terrain for them to worry about. You can see FPX is taking a full blunt force as the third parties are coming in here for the Flamebreaker from you. He gets caught into the Temi Wisp, and he's going to be losing a lot of HP. An armor swap would be idealistic here, but he's looking for the manual regen. The V2 coming out from there to Zip King as a result, and then Zem inside locked into this Yurt in the tent. He's got to get caught into this enchant. He's got F3 available in case things get a little bit sourpuss, but no one's pushing this tent whatsoever, considering that the Zai's ultimate's active, but they're going to cannon the heck out of her. You see how much armor is being lost out here from Zem. He's losing HP on the fly. JJH are in the background here, and as we can see, TE is going to be locked into the Yurt as well, but FPX are taking full advantage of the Spirit Well. JJH's Godly looks to push this, an immediate aggression route for this Cannonball combat, and looking to push in and not take any sort of range damage from the outside inside. And Yu is going in here, gets caught into the somersault coming out here from Dongxing. Dongxing getting those LMBs from the horizontal. The dual halberds gives him the elimination off of SS, and this is where Yu has to be careful here because he's caught between a rock and a hard place, and that hard place is a Farius Shen ready to go into full aggression for these cannon shots. Yu gets caught to the RMBs, and all these blue focuses are dealing a massive amount of damage, but he finds the opportunity moment of being able to escape here, glides over with his ability with the F1, and keeps their aggression on the moment in case anyone wants to try to push up onto that rooftop. He could just RMB with the fan, as it is not going to be, or the Hong Sword, as he lost that fan earlier from that somersault. But as Yu is looking to try to avoid these teammates, he is trying to keep himself, it's kind of weird, he's trying to hide in the plain sight as much as these players are going through, but you can see the decision making that he's making is working in his favor, keeping that type of aggression of not attacking and then finding that safe spot into that tree line. But we can see FPX is working their way into the middle of all of these tents. It's closing in. The last 2 minutes are going to be arriving. JJH's Godly having himself a cannon is going to go straight to Tian Hai. You're hoping to see where the Tian Hai happens, Raven. I'm hoping to see what Godly's got in store here. He looks for grabs.
Double grabs,
as
baby.
It comes out. He's looking for a lot of double grabs, and there's a whole team right here for JJH for him to look towards and making sure that his team can cause some staggers against FPX. And with Godly looking for the first slam down, he finds water. First set of eliminations, looking for those manual grabs. He can't find any range grabs. He gets himself back on top of this cliffside. He's making sure he's getting any sort of targets, but he's not having any success. Gets meter dump as a result. GG gets that elimination, and you can see DRG's XI is low, but JJH have to worry about this Viper. Now that the V3 is coming out, there is no ultimate to give them any sort of pressure into this position of worrying about where the enemies are going to go through. CJS having his dagger and going straight to the sky as much as he can to try to mitigate the lockdown potential from any of the enemy teammates. Zem finds elimination against a multitude of enemies from DRG and FPX. Wolves are picking up the eliminations here for 7 kills so far. They are still looking towards making sure they can make this work against this push. Zem having the meteor coming out here has that V2 to come through, and with the comet coming in from Zem, it could come into full work value for him to just launch out gold focus attacks as he climbs this hilltop again. He's looking at GG with no promise of demise, and he's looking to just keep that pressure for his team as the Wu-Chan port comes out here from GG. They go inside of the roof or on top of the tree line, and as JJH is looking to try to lock this one down, another port, but this time from TE. They're looking to try to get an attack buff here as they use that Wu-Chan port in the first couple of seconds there when they're full HP bar, but Wolves finding elimination of a GGG's LXM. TE Han with that V3 Viper is locking down 3-3-0 and into the zone. Zem has himself like a caught to that tether pop. He's got F3. He's got that meteor coming out here for the comment. He's looking for this R&B, so the testing check comes out from LYD, trying to lock down Wolves Zem. Zem finds a Soul Bloom in the middle of all this action and looks to get enchanted into the zone, eating up a lot of zone damage, and there's not going to be much to worry about. But Yu is the only other remaining OUG teammate, but Wolves has TE down here for the total eliminations, and Yu is going to be their 13th, as Yu is just keeping these teammates pushed back into the zone. Can he make it happen? He's looking for kill number 1, but he gets caught to the ZK from the R&B from the fan, and that's going to give Wolves their 13 kills for MVP in this round.